A common call that we get is a car versus pole. And a lot of times, the power line isn't down, but you don't know that until you get up on the scene. So as you approach that scene, you want to make sure that you're looking at all of the hazards that are on that scene, other vehicles, traffic, everything else that's there, including the power line. Once that pole is damaged, we can have all sorts of potential for wires to fall, or there could already be wires down on the vehicle. And again, they don't make any noise. If they're not sparking, you may not visibly see, but the vehicle could still be energized. So the first thing you want to do is make sure that you secure the scene, keep anybody from the public from approaching that vehicle, and include your crew. Your crew shouldn't approach that vehicle as well. If you can stay in your vehicle, you're much safer staying in your vehicle. And if you make contact with the power line because you didn't see it, back up and just try to get away from it with your vehicle itself. If there is people in the vehicle and the vehicle is energized, we want them to stay there. We don't want anybody to touch that vehicle at all. Now, that's going to be very difficult. If that person is unconscious, you're going to want to go help them, but you've got to stay back. You've got to make sure that you don't become a victim. If the vehicle is on fire, well, that creates another challenge for us. We want to try and control that fire as best we can. The best way to control that fire is to have the utility shut off. Any electrical fire, if you can just shut the power off first. If the victim is capable and has to exit that vehicle, then we would want them to try and jump free of the vehicle, not touch the vehicle and the ground at the same time. You think about if you drop a rock in the water, how it sends those ripples out from there. Electricity is doing very similar to that. When the electricity energizes the car, you have a ripple effect in the earth. We call it step potential or touch potential. Touch potential is if you're touching the car and the ground at the same time, you could become shocked. If you're on the ground, well, there's current flow through that earth, so there's a difference of potential from one step to the other. So what we want people to do is either hop or shuffle. Now, anybody that's been an emergency responder for a while, telling somebody to hop or shuffle after they've been involved in a car accident, this is absolutely a last resort. Stay clear. I always tell people with grass fires, it grows back and it looks prettier when it comes back anyway. So, there's no sense in risking your life to try to extinguish a grass fire. Maintain distance from the power line, not just the 50 feet that we've talked about consistently. Think about the spans. Once the tension is broken on that wire, it can cause uneven tension on the next structure back. If it's involved with fire, it can be even weaker and that pole could fail and fall over on your people as well. So maintain clearance, call the utility and let them know that. As soon as you determine you have an electrical hazard that you're dealing with, you want to make sure you notify the utilities as soon as possible. And there may be a variety of utilities in the area. You might have a rural electric cooperative, private utility, a transmission cooperative, a transmission company, a municipal utility. So there's a lot of utilities in your area. So it's important that you pre-plan your area to understand what those utilities are and what their emergency contacts are. Once you make that phone call, you wait for their direction at that point. You need to stop, make sure you stay back until somebody from that utility tells you that it's secure.